Hello everyone, today I'm going to share with you my February TBR. I've seen that other readers typically read romance because obviously February is Valentine's Day, but I hate romance. So instead, for the month of February, I am going to read novels that have been written by Black authors for Black History Month, as I have not read many Black authors or books pertaining to Black culture, so I would like to read some. My TBR is also a little bit smaller this month, not because February is the shortest month of the year, but because I also have another pretty big reading goal that I have for this month, and it's just something that I need to cross off my list. So we are going to talk about that in a minute, but without further ado, I'm going to share with you my February TBR. The first books that I will be reading for February is The Temple of My Familiar by Alice Walker. This is the story of disposed and displaced peoples whose history is ancient and future is yet to come. Here we meet Lizzie, a woman of many pasts, Ayurveda, the great guitarist, and his Latin American wife who has had to flee their homeland. We also have a history teacher and his former wife Fanny, who has fallen in love with spirits. And we also have some characters in this book from Alice Walker's previous novel, The Color of Purple. I thought this was a very interesting book to read since it does deal with Black culture a little bit more, and it's not necessarily focused on slavery. So I'm quite interested to read this, as I don't know about the different cultures of Black people. I know it's not just one big culture, but I know there's many other differing cultures depending on where you live and where you're from. So I think this will be quite an interesting read for me. So the next book that is on my TBR is 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. So I've seen the movie to this, but I haven't read this book yet, so I thought I would give it a go. Basically, Solomon is a freedman in New York during the later 1800s. He is then kidnapped and brought to Louisiana, I believe, to work as a slave on a plantation picking cotton and sugarcane. So yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie, so I know obviously what takes place, but it'll be interesting to actually read the book, because obviously the movie always leaves out parts. And this is based off of a true story. This is the actual story of a man that went through this, which just makes it all the more gut-wrenching. I have to say I'm excited to read about slavery, but I'm interested in reading it. So the next two books are more short stories, and they don't have anything to do with Black History Month. I just wanted to keep it half and half. I wanted to just read two books this month and just read two short story novels. So the first one we have is LA Noir. This is a collected short story series that features quite a few authors. We have Megan Abbott, Lawrence Block, Joe Lansdale, Joyce Carol Oates, Francine Prose, Jonathan Slantifer, I have no idea how to pronounce that last name, Dwayne something, I cannot pronounce the last name either, and Andrew Vosh. This is a story about crime, murders, old Hollywood, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm quite excited to read this since I love reading about murder. So this will be the only physical book I read this month. This book is Cocaine Blues by Carrie Greenwood. This is a Franny Fisher murder mystery. Miss Fisher Murder Mysteries happens to be one of my favorite TV shows, so I'm happy to finally get around to reading this. Basically, this follows Franny when she leaves London and returns to Melbourne, Australia. There she ends up becoming a lady detective, and she uncovers basically drug smuggling and all that good stuff. So yeah, I do enjoy the series a lot, so I'm interested to see if the books are any good. And it's really short. So the reason why my TBR is so small for this month is because my biggest goal for February is to get through my gigantic magazine stack. I read a lot of magazines. I've been so focused on books that I haven't had time to read these magazines. So I thought February would be the most perfect month to do this kind of challenge. I have a huge stack of magazines. I think altogether I have a stack of 30 magazines that I just have sitting around that I need to read. So my goal for this month is to read 15 to 20 magazines. Some of these magazines are like really short, like less than 70 pages, but then others I have that are special issues that are like 200-ish pages. Most of them, of course, are pictures, but it still is quite a bit of reading. So I'm going to show you the stack now. This isn't my entire stack because it's literally so heavy, I cannot lift it up. So this is the stack. It is huge. It's pretty thick. Yeah, I hope to get through a lot of this. I'll show you the magazines that I subscribe to pretty quickly. This is April, May of 2018. This is a Canada's History magazine. A Canadian Crime Stories. This is a special issue. Then I have Discover magazine. This is from May 2018, so that's like I'm almost a year behind reading these. And I have Archaeology, which is my favorite magazine to read about. I love archaeology. And again, this is like May, June 2018. And I have National Geographic History. And then I have another special issue, which isn't that big. I have this one at the very bottom about the Tudors. This is like one of the other special issue magazines that I typically get. 159 pages of reading, but as you can see, most of them are like pictures and stuff. But it is still a good read. This isn't even the full stack. This last magazine in this stack that's dated goes back to December 2018, so we're in February right now, which I hadn't picked up February magazines. But yeah, this is like a year of magazines pretty much that I have to get through. It's gonna be a chore. So while I am reading these magazines, I will be doing a reading vlog to kind of update you on how I'm going. So I'll probably post that at like the beginning of March. So yeah, that will be quite the reading vlog. As you can see, there's many magazines to get through, so I am kind of interested to see if I can actually stick to this and see how many magazines I am able to get through. Typically, if I keep at it, I can get through like one of these smaller magazines. I can get through one in like a day and a half, typically. So I hope you all enjoyed my TBR. In the comments below, I would like to know what is on your TBR for the month of February, and if you plan on reading romance or books pertaining to Black History Month. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!